Hello YouTube and welcome to Full Dottle, a channel dedicated to tamping topics such as pipes, tobacco, lore, and more. I am your host, the Bearded Briarman, and without further ado, let's get lit. Welcome back everyone, and on this episode of Full Dottle, I'm going to be giving my first impressions of Cornell Diehl's small batch Carolina Red Flake. This was released last week, I believe it was. I got a notice from smokingpipes.com and I immediately grabbed a few tins, put the others up to age in the cellar, and this is the one that I'm going to give my first impression and full review on. The full review will be next week. So let's read what Tobacco Reviews says about this blend. A blend of the finest North Carolina grown red Virginias harvested in 2015. This is actually, I apologize, before I started reading this, I didn't look at it. This is going to be the description that was given from their original release date of 2016. I'll go ahead and finish reading this really quick, but just keep in mind, this is actually the release of 2019, not 2015. Our Carolina Red Flake is a tribute to the Old Belt. Plucked straight from Carolina soil, these top-tier Virginias were all grown thrashed, blended, pressed, and then lovingly sliced and tinned right here in the heart of old tobacco country. Sweet, tangy, and spicy, Carolina Red Flake is both surprisingly straightforward and pleasantly complex. You'll find it's rich, deep, and earthy with undertones of dried cranberries, orchard grass, and citrus. We're proud of our heritage, and we're particularly proud of this damn near perfect red Virginia Flake. Enjoy. Anybody who knows me knows I love red Virginias, so needless to say, I am extremely excited to try this out. This is a straight Virginia from Cornell and Diehl, and they have the strength at medium. There is no flavoring detected. Taste is at medium, and the room note is pleasant, pleasant to tolerable. Let me just look at the tin really quick here and see if it says anything different. Nope, it says the exact same thing. All right, so let me correct my correction. It does say a blend of the finest North Carolina grown red Virginias harvested in 2015. So I'm going to take the tin for its word. I'm going to say that these Virginias were harvested in 2015, but this is a 2020 tin. It says 9/14/2020. So it was this year's release. However, apparently 2015 was when the tobacco was harvested. Anyway, let's open this up and get our tin note. It is a broken flake. Oh, you definitely catch that grassy, bready scent from the Virginias. Smells like really rich, dried grasses. Smells like that freshly baked bread from a bakery. It has the aroma of freshly raked leaves in the fall. Reminds me of putting hay up in the barn with my dad in the summer times when I was a kid. Sweet and grassy. I love the aroma so far. You can see here that it is a broken flake. Hey, now, can't be dropping any and wasting it, can we? All right, let me load up this pipe and I will be right back with you. All right, everybody, I've got the pipe loaded up, and as always with my first impressions, I am smoking it out of an AKB Meerschaum. This is a Tekken. It is a tomato-shaped lattice finish. So, everyone, let's get lit.
All right.
Okay. Well, for me, the leading flavor profile that I'm catching off of this is a really strong grass and hay type note. It does have an overall spiciness that I find a little bit unusual for a straight red Virginia. And I'd have to say I'm a little bit confused as to what part of the process would cause the spiciness of the tobacco to come out. But I get a lot of things like a woodiness, I get the grass and hay, I get like dried leaves. And just a little bit of a underlying hint of like char or graphite. This is not coming across very sweet to me at all. And the tartness of it is there, but it's extremely difficult to find. In all honesty, I would have to say that I enjoy their bulk Red Virginia ribbon cut a lot more than I enjoy this. I'm not seeing I'm not seeing what's real spectacular about it, but it's a straight red Virginia. And it's acting a lot more like a aged straight bright Virginia than a red Virginia. I'm catching more of the mineral, like from the aftertaste of a dark honey. I'm not tasting any of the tartness that is customary with a red Virginia, and it's not sweet at all like I would expect a Virginia to be. No citrus. I'm getting a lot of dry grass, hay, and dried leaves, a little bit of woodiness, and maybe just a touch of like a walnut without that sweetness in the background. There's this underlying savoriness to it that's like almost like a charred wood, maybe a charred softwood. Or like an in between a charred softwood and a graphite. Let me smoke this down to the halfway point of the bowl, and I will be right back with you to give you my final thoughts on it. Stick around, everyone. All right, everyone, it's been 10 minutes. I have allowed the pipe to go out and also to cool off. So let's relight and see if there have been any changes in this tobacco. Marcus must see somebody he doesn't like. Typical of a Virginia, after it has stoved in the bowl for a little while, this is the halfway point, it has increased in its sweetness as well as its depth and complexity. I catch just pieces of the tartness that the red Virginias are commonly known for. The sweetness is much like a black walnut. Black walnut has a little bit of sweetness, and it's got a lot of that bitterness in the background, and that's what I'm catching off of this second half. That charred graphite and mineral type flavor that was setting in the background is much more pronounced now, giving it an almost barbecue-esque type flavor. Not as sweet as a mesquite, but more like maybe a hickory type barbecue. And again, I'm catching this salted pork type flavor in the back. And still a lot of those gray grasses, haze, dried leaves. And that woodiness. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of that tartness from the red Virginias. I'm not sure why this particular harvest did not express itself that way. Ultimately, it's got less sweetness, more earth and mineral, more of that woody and charred type flavor than a bright Virginia does. So it's darker in that aspect. Ultimately, this isn't necessarily a blend for me. I much prefer the Sutliff Red Virginia that gives that absolutely profound classic tartness that a red Virginia is known for. This is just a, it's closer to a stoved bright Virginia than it is a fresh or an aged red Virginia. If you like Virginias, Steve Coddington out there smoking cardboard, I think this is one that you would probably enjoy because it doesn't have that strong tartness that you said that you really don't like in a Virginia. It tastes a lot like a stoved bright Virginia, so I think you might enjoy it out there. It's not bad. For a straight Virginia, it's not bad. I'm not trying to say that it's unenjoyable, but for me, it just doesn't have the depth and the complexity that I look for in a blend, and especially it does not meet the flavor profile that I understand a red Virginia to be. So for me, I'll be back in a week to give you my full review, and we'll see how it fares. But it was interesting nonetheless to be able to have a go at it. I've got a 10 in the cellar that is aging. We'll see what happens in 2 years with that one. Hopefully it will come out a lot deeper in its molasses and brown sugars and all that caramelly type sweetness that comes out. But until then, that's going to do it for this episode of Full Dottle. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until the next time we see each other, I bid you farewell and happy piping. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to enlist in the Full Dottle platoon. It's easy. Just click the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload the next episode.